Equipped with a small Dunkin' Donuts coffee, a bag of peanut M&Ms, and a full rotation of mixed CDs, I made the 3-hour drive west across Maine, from Old Town to Bethel. I inhaled the clean mountain air and felt a mix of excitement and tremendous apprehension. I approached the center of the town, following behind a line of fire trucks, gearing up to be displayed in the parade. On board were smiling Mainers, all wearing this year's Malayaket Day t-shirt. Malayaket was a Native American woman who was a master storyteller, hunter, healer, and craftswoman within what is now western Maine. She's become something of a legend for Bethel, and for over 50 years, the people of the town have hosted a weekend festival under her name. In all these years, there has never been a visible Native presence at the event. Part of the tradition is an essay contest, where young girls write about Malayaket. The winner dresses up as her, and has her own float in the parade. After hearing about this level of cultural appropriation, of Americans assuming the appearance of a group that has been oppressed, and realistically the victims of massive genocide, I was ready to witness Malayaket Day for myself, to study the parade as a site of identity construction and power plays. I thought that I was ready. As I looked for a parking spot, a guy about my age ran across the street. He was wearing tan pants, no shirt, a feather lodged in a band around his head, and paint across his cheeks. At the sight of him, I broke down. A wave of disgust washed over me, and the pit of my stomach felt leaden. I surprised myself as I let out a sob. Then, gaining control of the situation, I composed myself and focused on getting a parking spot. As I joined my friends, my colleagues at our booth for the Maine Wabanaki-State Child Welfare Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC for short, that I'd been working for all summer, I told them about the moment. I couldn't convey the depth of what I'd felt. I didn't try. I left our booth to watch the parade. I took photographs to document what I saw. This performance of dressing up as a Native American is fairly commonplace within our culture. Kids dress up as cowboys and Indians for Halloween. Hipsters appropriate headdresses at music festivals. The Kardashians covered themselves in paint and ran around their house doing war whoops. I can no longer see a headband with a feather in it as harmless. I now carry the weight of this unthinking ignorance. I have felt a taste of the depth of our nation's violations of humanity. We all do, but bury the guilt deep within, and we are taught to ignore it or to handle it inappropriately. How are Indians both visible and invisible? Why does the Land O'Lakes lady still grace sticks of butter? Why won't the Blackhawks change their mascot? Why did the float made up of teenagers dressed as so-called settlers and Indians win? How could the acceptable response be to say that they did not intend to offend? How can we switch the discussion to being accountable for our actions? Is it, as James Baldwin would suggest, the innocence that constitutes the crime?